So, Darren, your thoughts on the International Masters League, the competition, level of competition?
Well, we had a great first game, India Masters versus Sri Lanka Masters. I thought, looking on paper, I thought Sri Lanka, three proper pace bowlers there with Lakmal, who was playing county cricket only a year ago. Udana still plays a lot of franchise cricket, and Pradeep still gets the ball through as well. Coming up against India, when I looked at their side, I thought strong batting. So the standard has been amazing. And you look at the game we've got now, West Indies, Australia, both these lineups look pretty strong all the way through, especially West Indies. Again, Jerome Taylor, Fidel Edwards, Tino Best is not playing tonight, but they've got some serious pace in there, and Ravi Rampal. So, you know, it's two strong lineups.
Another question, Darren, what do you make of the competitions like these? It gives a chance to old pals meet each other and relive some old memories and also refresh those old rivalries on the pitch.
And that's what it's like, you know. I mean, we see some of the competitions around the world and they're usually successful. IPL started it and it's just gone from strength to strength. But there is still a huge market for guys who have just retired or some who have been retired 10 years who still want to play, and the supporters, the fans still want to see you, right? You look at Sachin Tendulkar, still comes out to play and people still just want to see him walk out. It doesn't matter if he doesn't get any runs, they just want to watch him. Brian Lara, we got out there as well, Chris Gayle. These are big characters, and a lot of these guys played against each other, and it's still as competitive now as it was 10 years ago, so it's great. I think it's a great competition.
We also are going to see cricket in the Los Angeles Olympics. So cricket actually getting its due, I mean it's a long time due. How do you see the future of cricket when it comes to the Olympic, the exposure it might get because of the reach of the Olympics?
Exactly, it's all about the growth of the game, isn't it? We've seen that associate cricket for me is getting stronger and stronger. I see some competitions around the world where a lot of associate players are playing, and there's some very good talented players around the world. Cricket is growing in the US, in Canada, you know, and Namibia is still pretty strong. All these countries are really good at cricket, and the more exposure it gets, the better. And the Olympics, there's no better place. I will definitely be watching it when it comes to the Olympics, and I think a lot of other people will be fascinated by it.
Talking about the competition, the Champions Trophy is also going on in Dubai, and every team has at least played a game each. Which one has impressed you the most so far, and what do you make of England's stunning defeat against Australia despite 350 on the board?
Well, India looked pretty strong, I'm not going to lie. They were good against England in the one-day series, and then they started off with two terrific performances. South Africa and New Zealand, I don't know what's happened today in New Zealand's game, but they look pretty strong and solid in that first game, and that's without Bolt and Southey. I thought they were going to miss them, and I think Lockie Ferguson's out as well now. So when you've got those three out, I was thinking New Zealand, I'm not quite sure, but they've started pretty well. England, what can I say about England? It's same as their test cricket. It's so inconsistent at the moment. When they get it right, it's unbelievable to watch. The way they bat, the way they go about things is brilliant, but we're not consistent enough, and I think with a ball, we don't really seem to have a plan. We've gone in with three out-and-out quick bowlers, and gone are the days where you could just bowl short to teams, and I think we're getting found out. We did in India, where Shubman Gill just kept hitting, pulling, and it started off in the World Cup again. 350 on the board yesterday should have been enough. That should have been game over, and we lost easy. They won with, what, 2.5 overs to spare? 3.5 overs to spare? So that's going to be hard to come back for England, but they have to come back strong, because lose one more game and they're out.
What do you think of the final? Who can actually make the final of the Champions Trophy given platform?
Well, if you look at the groups, India look as though they've qualified, right? Let's just say they're going to qualify. I think New Zealand are going to go out of that group with them. And the other group, would be interesting now what happens. I think South Africa will definitely go. I tipped Afghanistan, but the pressure's on them the next game now. I think they've got the game. Afghanistan have got an upset in them, and if they get to the semi-final, you just don't know. But that group's a bit harder to predict. India definitely, and New Zealand, and then the other group's going to be hard. But if I were to say who's going to win it, I would say India. They just look the last World Cup, they went all the way through and won every game except the final. And this one, they look pretty solid to me. When you look at them, I was telling someone this morning, but you look at India, if you're a player and you're looking around, you look at India's batting and you just don't see a weakness. They've got Akshar Patel now who comes and floats, and they just bat so deep. And this is out with Bumrah, the best bowler in the world, is not playing for India, but they still look too strong for everybody else.
You've seen India in the Champions Trophy so far. We saw Mohammad Shami yesterday. He bowled 4 overs and then he left the field. He still looks rusty, and there may be a fitness issue. Do you think India should probably rest Shami, or is it worthy taking a chance with him now that Bumrah is not here?
They probably will rest him. They've got the confidence to do it. Well, I say, when you've got a batting lineup like that, you can afford to probably bring someone else in. They could bring another spinner in, actually, especially in Dubai. We saw yesterday the pitch. They're not as flat as the wickets in Lahore and things like that. So you could probably get away with playing another spinner. So I think you might find India will probably arrest him. They've got plenty of opportunity. Hardik Pandya is always good for his overs as well. So I would expect him to rest him, absolutely.
Darren, if you talk about the English approach these days, I mean, we saw Brendan McCullum taking over the reins of the white ball side as well, which many believe is going to be a very big boost for the side. We have not seen something like that happening. Butler and Baz McCullum, they have not gelled up the way Ben Stokes and Baz McCullum had gelled. It's still early, but do you think that the performance pressure is putting extra sort of pressure on Captain Josh Butler?
Yeah, I just think the way we play cricket, when it goes well, it's brilliant. It's aggressive, it's powerful, it's trying to take people on and put the pressure on the opposition. I get what England are trying to do, but they've found no real consistency doing it. You look at the best two teams still, the type of cricket they play, it's aggressive, but it's controlled. And that's India and Australia, right? England have got to find somewhere in between where they're at the moment and what India and Australia do. It's either one extreme or the other. And I think we've got some very talented players. I love Baz McCullum's methods, but we've just got to make sure we stay in control. And I look at the current team and I just think it just lacks a bit of balance. Yes, we're missing Ben Stokes, who's a wonderful player. And unfortunately his body's catching up with him. But when you miss a player like that for the balance, it's like India missing Pandya, right? He's such a balanced cricketer in there, fielding, bowling, batting. It's very hard to replicate, and we're going in with 3 fast bowlers, and we're getting smashed around India and Pakistan.